for me is siding out. It's just being able to put the ball away, and sometimes a lot of it's passing, a lot of it's approaching. It's just getting in the right positions, and it starts with my passing. It's just not consistent at all. So I want to honestly, the biggest thing to get out of is just more side out consistency, because I certainly can side out when I pass well and get a good set. It's just, how do I get there?
Okay.
And the other thing is, I guess, block setup. I have some trouble deciding, I've seen a few setups for blocking, whether it's really quick jumps or guys who basically squat down to the ground, set up, and then jump straight up. And I'm trying to figure out what
the actual jumping technique.
Yeah, like just how to set up necessarily.
Okay. All right. So passing and side out, and then a little bit of a look at the block.
Yep.
Okay. And this is an open, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then of the players here, which one are you?
The one back left on the right side. I'm a right side player, so I'm over there. Yep.
Okay, back on the right side, right there. Okay, in the orange shorts. Nice matching shorts. Good. Okay. So yeah, that sounds good. We can just sort of start looking at that. I'm wondering if there's any way that I can sort of zoom so that we can get a little bit closer to the court. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you probably should.
Increase side, enter full screen, float on top. Zoom, maybe. No.
Getting there. You got to keep zooming.
Zoom. No. Okay, that's fine. It would be nice to look closer, but we're good here. All right, so you ready to rock?
Yep.
All right. You probably can't see me anymore. I'm not sure if that's correct, or can you only see the screen?
No, I see both. Yeah, I see a small U and I see the screen.
Okay, great. I can only see me, so we're fine. And what's your partner's name?
Steve.
Steve. All right. So let's go to the beginning. All right. This is on a side switch, so this is your second, probably your second set because you sent me the other first video.
Yeah, I think this was a 2-game set.
Okay. All right, and we've got side wind blowing from the ocean, yeah?
Yep, blowing from Lake Michigan, yep.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, he gets a look at you.
So I'm actually on defense this one.
Do that. Ooh, nice hold. You baited him into that line a little bit.
Yeah, that was a 4 block.
Yeah, he takes a look at you, like you can see him taking a look at you. And you held maybe a little bit too early. You left, but luckily he took his eyes off you.
Yeah.
Good shot. All right, another block. Do you remember, how long ago was this? Do you know?
A month ago.
Okay, so you might remember what you were doing midpoint and things like that.
I remember most of the blocks, and I remember our setup for this one because we play these guys so often.
Okay. Are you intentionally serving him short?
We're just intentionally going back and forth deep and short on him. He usually gets tired kind of because he's the blocker and he's a little bit older, so we usually kind of go at him.
Okay. All right, here's your first side out look. All right, so first look, my first question is, where is your favorite spot on the court to hit from? Well, let's say this. What's your favorite swing to hit? You know, if you close your eyes and sort of imagine yourself at match point, you know, for the championship in this tournament, and you get served, what swing are you going for? You know, how 9 out of 10 times, what swing do you imagine?
In terms of getting points, my high line is my go-to shot. If I'm going to hit a hard spike, it's going to be seam or generally line.
Well, which one do you go for? High line or seam?
High line. Yeah.
Okay. High line. All right. So opening that up means that you should be probably, you can hit a little bit wider. That way you can hold somebody on a sharp cut shot, right? So I think a wide approach is pretty good for that. What I see here right now is that they served you just a little bit outside, and then you kept going outside. And if we have side wind coming in from the lake there, this set has a decent chance of falling in on your left shoulder. I think that's a pretty excellent set. Like, he got it to your right shoulder.
Yep.
But since you're outside there, and again, this is just the first point. So you're outside there, and now he's pushing the ball into the wind instead of making it a little bit easier for him to create a little bit more of an up and down set. But we'll talk more about what type of sets you like, because some people like it a little bit more pushed.
I usually don't. My biggest thing lately has been setting up in middle and attacking right side from almost right behind him, so I can leave a lot of room for my right arm.
Okay. So that being said, you didn't do that on the first point.
Not at all.
Okay. We'll take a look. All right, tough pass, but why is it a tough pass? Good setup. Little bit of a jump there.
I do that all the time, and I don't know why.
It's tough, like that motion there on a soft serve looks to me to be fairly unnecessary, right? You just needed to touch that ball with a 3-inch movement of your arms, and your whole body lifts, and both feet come in the air after this. Look at that. See that?
Yeah.
Both feet. So ideally perfection. We're looking for something a little bit more stable. We get that, and that's creates a little bit of an extra push on a soft serve. So stability is going to be key for passing, and if we can't pass, we're just not going to side out. Period. Okay, this one you took this little jab step in. We'll pull away on this pass. All right, so first 2 looks at your passes, a little bit jumpy.
Yeah.
Not crazy, but you can see that sort of stand and pull away, sticking in, and like my coach says, enjoying the pass, staying in there, like really hugging it and sitting there.
I kind of pushed that in front of him and made him kind of bring it back.
Yeah. Pushed him over a little bit, but you almost stepped inside. The right move here would be to take a giant side shuffle to your left. Since you locked that over, or since you brought that pass over, this is like just a really good opportunity to jump over and then come in on a straight line. But what you do here is you come in at an angle. You see this?
Yeah.
Sort of take that giant step towards him and towards the net rather than relining yourself up. I gotta say though, he's doing a really good job. Steve is his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of finding your right arm. Like, these are good sets.
Yeah, we practice a lot of me passing and him setting just because I get served so much. So he's pretty good at it.
Yeah. Okay, good step close. Yeah, right arm, middle ball, good choice.
So one question there, just about arm swing, and this is probably for another time, but most of my swings, when I watch my video, there's no real arm swing. I lift up and I just go through. I never pull and release.
A second, I want to see what you're doing. Okay, show me your motion on your camera.
I've watched myself and I just lift up, and it's just like a lift up and swing through. I don't pull and lead my elbow or anything. I just lift and 2x4.
Kind of slappy. Why do you think that happens?
Well, I guess I've never really practiced a good swing, so this is just kind of naturally how it developed, honestly, and I never really thought about it until recently.
Okay. How long have you been playing volleyball?
7 years-ish.
Any indoor training at all?
Never. Basically all beach, a little bit of indoor just for fun, but I really don't play much indoor.
Okay. Yeah, so indoor, like when you get the opportunity to be coached a lot, you're taking hundreds of swings of practice. A lot of times when I see it even with my roommate. He moved to California and he's gotten coached maybe 4 times since he's been here, which to me, looking back on my career, is just a huge mistake. You're spending time not knowing where your errors are and not fixing them. There is something to be said, of course, for playing as much as possible, right? I mean, you're going to get experience, but once you've experienced all of those points that you lost, Did you go back after that practice and every point you lost, you worked on that exact point for 50 repetitions until you figured out how to do it? You know, so I see that frequently where people just kind of struggle by playing instead of fixing things, because the next time you see that one error, you know, that same exact play is going to happen 100 points later.
Sure.
That's
totally. It does. I live the same life on a lot of these plays.
Okay. So yeah, that might be like something we can record in the gym or something in slow motion, and that would be a good way to video. It would be from the side.
Got it.
Definitely a closer camera angle.
Okay.
All right, so you got locked in here. Hits it, good peel, hands are high. Okay, we're stable, probably no time to hit. Gave that away, right? Soft jump, leaning back. At this point, right here, me as a defender, I'm saying there's no hit. There's no hit opportunity because you're arching back. You're looking at the ball like this. So for you to bring any heat is going to be super difficult.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get underneath that one.
Yep. Right, and kind of like a little slow approach. Part of that is once you dug this, you got locked in there and you stayed, so you didn't get a full approach again. You know, you're only sitting here on like a two-step approach, maybe a three-step. 1, 2, 3, but a little bit softer jump. Don't have your full runway, and all of a sudden, right here, boom, huge. The jaw flies up, your back leans back, so I can relax as a defender, and I know I'm in chase mode. This blocker at this point should be peeling. As soon as he sees your back arching like that on that jump, that's a good opportunity for him to peel, because if you know somebody's shooting, you shouldn't be blocking. You know, that's your opportunity to peel.
And the solution is to wait longer or just hang back?
A little bit longer. It would be ideal if you had more space after this dig right here. So you dig it, you fall, and you never hop backwards. You never establish some space. You know, make this dig, boom, now jump back, right? Instead of sitting there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Dig it, push back. You had that little instant, like that half a second to take just a big jab step back, and it could have given you a little bit more runway and given your setter a little bit more room to lead you.
That makes sense. I remember when I was out there, you kept telling me to wait too when I was approaching, because I kept getting underneath everything and just getting there way too early.
Yeah.
So that's another 4 block.
Okay. Defender's leaving early. You see that?
He usually does, yeah, because I can hear them. The problem is when I run a lot of 4s and I hear them yelling angle before I jump, I know something's wrong.
Yeah. So right there, too early. Yep. You got it. It's so hard for a true 4. You have to wait until contact. You know, and you're committing to take off on contact, but you just got to wait for it. And it's a really hard thing to do. And everybody wants to leave on the jump, just like he's doing right here. But his peripherals are definitely still paying attention to what's forward.
Yep. I usually leave once they look at me, but you're saying wait until the actual contact. I usually wait till they see me and then I leave.
We'll make sure they are completely done seeing you.
Yeah.
You know, and that includes not just when they're staring at you, but also when their eyes are tracking up, there's still a sense in front of them of where the court is.
Sure, that's true.
And so like on the way up, people are still kind of feeling movement in front of them. But right now is about when his eyes are gone.
Yep.
You know, hopefully. Okay. And since he's leaning back too, he kind of did this slow, soft approach. It looks to me, if we look at it in fast motion, yeah, that you got to peel on that. Like if we see this speed coming in, and then he gets under the ball and takes that little jump back, you can see it. Look at him arch back. See that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost not worth jumping at that point. And since it's a shot, since you can see that shot on that timing, you can block, but you're not huge.
Yeah.
But the timing though, you would have to jump almost on contact.
Yeah, I'd have to wait.
Yeah, because you know that he's jumping, okay, shot just a little bit later or appeal for sure. And maybe hopefully you know him, but if he's shooting more than he's hitting, then you have to throw some peels in there.
Yep.
Okay, here's a good look at the side out. Darn it, I was hoping he made that. I'd like to see that.
I find I have hard times peeling sometimes on 3s and 4s calls for whatever reason. I feel like I almost have to stay and do something fantastic, really dive in and throw a cut shot back at someone or something.
Yeah, there'll be a time for that. But if you see that remember that the play calls, it's always ball first, right? You're getting a read first, and then if they're in a good situation, that's when you stick to that play call. And that's probably one of the hardest parts about being a blocker and a defender actually, is that you should be ball first, being able to steal and take anything that's close to the net and smother it. And then once they're at about 3 or 4 feet and they're in system, that's when your actual block call comes into play.
Yep.
But if they're tighter than that, you're grabbing it. And some people, there'll be a 50-50 set and somebody still runs a 4 when you could have just grabbed it.
Completely. Oh, I do that sometimes, thinking I'm going to really surprise them, and I should have just stuck my hand over and smothered it.
Mm-hmm. Hands are a little bit late. That's not terrible. That's good. Nice. I'd like to see your hands definitely a lot wider here. See how close they are?
Yeah, I was watching your video that you just posted about having them about shoulder, a little wider in shoulder, and mine are a little closer.
That's for now. That's all right. All right, let's see where your hands are. I don't like that you had to approach into your jump because now you don't have your distancing. See that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking about, kind of the setup.
Yeah. So here's the best thing that you can do is, let me see if I can see you again, is when you're at the net, just hold your elbow right in front of you and then distance your feet so that the elbow is the net's elbow distance. And then throughout the point, you're just shuffling along that line. Like that's got to be a tightrope, maybe a foot and a half, maybe a foot from the net. Your feet are on that tightrope and you're shuffling throughout the whole play. There's a few videos of long rallies between like Phil and Alisson, and you see them doing such strict shuffle work, never playing with their distance from the net, but always along the net. And that way your distancing always stays the same so that you can measure your penetration.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah. So we can move on from there, but definitely like this sort of approach jump here, that's going to be really tough to measure where you are from the net. And then there's a big chance that now you're going to be drifting towards the net. And then as you drift towards the net, then you don't want a net, so you naturally reach up and then you're not penetrating, etc.
Makes sense, yeah.
All right. Let's see the next one. Yep. Okay, not serving you. Not bad. I think you can be a little stricter on your square up for sets, right?
Yep.
Instead of leaning like that with the angle. More consistency over time. You want to be facing the hoop. If you see somebody with the opportunity to take a foul shot in basketball, they're never angling themselves off to the side. So if they square on, your targeting will be better as much as you can do that. And we went over that a lot. So it's just you got to get strict with it in the moment and take that extra little bit of rush to make sure that it's perfect. All right, so let's see your movement along the net here. Yeah, so see how much your distancing changes throughout the point?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Okay. So you're kind of far from the net. You get closer there, sideways there, and now forward, 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 and then a jump. So that distancing is going to screw up with your ability to take angles over time, just because your penetration will be a little bit different every time. And since you're floating to or from the net, it's really hard to get your hands in a consistent place. So my recommendation is, after we're done here, just keep watching the big blockers and how they move along the net. I like to say that it's a one-way switch for blockers. They never say, am I going off or am I going on? That's not a question they ask, right? It's not a two-parted question. It's I'm on. Am I going off? Does that make sense?
That completely makes sense.
So you never sit in that middle ground thinking, I could block or I could not. It's I'm blocking, I'm blocking, I'm blocking. No, I'm not. That's the only switch. You only have a kill switch. You don't have an on switch because it's automatically on. And that's,
okay, so that brings up a question then. So kind of the way I've been taught to block, which may be right or wrong, but tell me, is to kind of the step close method, kind of like having one foot off ready to turn and peel and then closing that foot and jumping, as opposed to what you're saying, I think, is always kind of have my feet parallel and right next to each other ready to block?
If you watch the World Tour men play,
yeah,
it's always shuffling. Nobody is waiting in that half-loaded position with everything off because they're going to be blocking the large majority of time. If you watch women play, more of them are using this loaded sort of half-off position where they're not facing the net. They're going to be peeling so much more frequently. Women aren't winning a ton of matches on block points, but when you have a guy like Phil who can get 2-point-something blocks per set, sometimes 3 or 4, if he's firing, that becomes a big difference maker in the match. So
you're right. Yeah,
we're peeling, and in this case, you have to also measure who you're playing. If you're playing against smaller guys or weaker hitters, you got to think, this match I'm going to be peeling a lot more than I'm going to be staying. So you stay in that open position because you're just ready. You want to be readier to peel. But if you know that you're facing guys who can put balls away fairly consistently and you have to stay in block because of that more often, you got to be in that held position so that your lineups are really solid.
That makes complete sense against the better teams to actually be committed to blocking. And mentally, I am thinking I'm blocking this game a lot more than I will be against the worst teams or the smaller teams, whatever you want to call it. So I never thought about it positioning wise. So that's good.
Yeah. So with that, I heard the same things that you heard probably earlier in my career. And then I started to watch all of the players. And there's one time when they sit in that sort of open position. And it's when they see a setter super struggling, setter sprinting off the back line of the court and it doesn't look like they're about to get set. Then you see somebody kind of put one hand up to the net and they're ready to leave.
Yep.
But when everything else is in system, they are staying and getting a perfect lineup by shuffling and staying perpendicular to the net.
Got it.
Yeah, so it looks, I don't have a side view, but to me, it looks like your starting position here is a little far from the net.
Yeah, I am kind of hanging back, I think, waiting for a 2-ball or something.
Okay. Yay. Is that our point? Good. All right. Don't know what we're blocking. We'll see. Yeah, forward, back. Now I'm approaching to the net. Now your left hip is further away from the net than your right hip, which means either you're going to rotate too far or your left hand is going to stay unpenetrated, if that's a word. Okay, kind of a twisting block. Good job getting both hands there where you feel like you can grab it. But if you see that there, this little, the feet aren't even. Now you're having this rotating block, right? That's going to be, and you netted because of it.
Yeah. That you know how many times I feel like I'm in the air and I'm turning, and so one hand gets in and the other hand's kind of drifting off or coming behind me, and I realize I'm rotating at some point when I'm doing this closed stuff.
Mhm.
So maybe that's causing me more trouble than it's helping.
I would say that that would cause a lot of nets. Not knowing how far you are consistently from the net because of the forward and backwards movement, and especially if you're now rotating because one foot is further back than the other, that's going to cause all sorts of those little micro movements on the net that will eventually lead to nets. And if you're rotating like this, you know, you jump from your left hip back and then you turn like, and you jumped forward. So you're rotating and jumping forward. That's probably going to cause you a lot of nets.
So just stable blocking position. Yeah, I'm writing this down.
And then you do that sort of the Will Smith movie. Cannot stop it.
You know, we had a few games, I think this year or last year, where for me blocking, I kind of just practiced taking, I don't want to say taking ball, but pretty much taking ball, just getting both hands around it and just committing. And those games, although they didn't feel as cerebral, they worked out, I think, a lot better in terms of blocking because I got a lot of just touches and good touches. It wasn't so much me trying to jump in or surprise someone or should I feel. It was more like I'm going to commit to everything that's not, unhittable sort of thing.
It's funny that you said it didn't feel as cerebral because 2 years ago, like I had probably my best season playing with Kurt Topol, and we kept having to, both of us kept having to remind him, big and dumb. Like, don't see things and think that you have to change. Don't try to guess and anticipate what's happening. Just stay here, take up space, like get in front of them and then take up space. Period.
Yep.
And like he was so stable and got so big on so many blocks. And I had such clear windows because he's huge. You know, he jumps high and he's 6'9". So like all I needed was a stable window and I was getting a lot more digs. But every time he would wave his hands or kind of guess, it left me a little bit more helpless.
Yeah, I believe it.
So the big and dumb theory and just staying there, that gets you 98% of the way. And this situation here where you have to go and grab it, okay, that's a good choice. But not guessing when they're in the system or not thinking, oh, I think they're going cross. And then it's, do they have to go cross right now? Okay, they have to. Now I'll put my hands there.
Yeah.
I think they are going cross, but they have other options. Enjoy it. Stay in there. That's a golf swing. It's a lefty golf swing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did stand way up into it too. I mean, I don't know if that's the right way or not, but.
Yeah, I mean, players do stand afterwards, but I mean, you can tell that this movement here.
That looks so bad.
Yeah, and any unnecessary movement. If we don't catch it early, every unnecessary movement is just going to play with your ability to be consistent.
Yeah.
Let's see if we do the same. Okay, 2 feet in the air on the pass again. Maybe 1 foot in the air, but you can see the jump motion.
Oh, yeah.
We want to try to like get there, rock solid and hold. Rock solid, good swing. Nice. And that's something that you can practice and like see just for warm-ups. Instead of peppering, have your partner stand 3/4 on the other side of the net. Serve, receive 10 to 15 balls. See how solid you can have your feet in the ground and how like you can just stay in the pass and not have to flow and throw extra movements, or like if you notice 1 foot sliding or coming out of the ground, force it to stay in, especially in warm-ups.
Yeah, I think that'll help to actually think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely cerebral because you want to move. You want to move with the ball instead of being a solid board for it. The arm swing's not bad, man. You're throwing it. There's a little chest rotation in there, which is great. I'd like to see your left hand get up a little bit higher on that one, but I don't see this kind of paddle slapping that you were talking about.
That was a better one. That was one of my better ones. When they're in the right spot, I can do it, but a lot of times it just evolves.
This is really lucky as far as a block goes. The hitter blew past, right? So if he wants to go cross here, if you have a hitter there, and this depends on the strategy that you had during this match, but if you had somebody who could swing there, they have an open net cross. Unaffected, unobstructed, open net. And, you know, against a big hitter, your glasses are going to get knocked off there. So he stayed super wide and really just guessed and threw his arms up there. That's not really a read, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, and it's not going to work out over time because he's nowhere near the hitter's line of approach. And this hitter, because he's a shooter, yeah, see that? I mean, he's taking super long looks. So after seeing just the first, whatever, we had 14 points here, I would be peeling on this guy until he legitimately proved that he could put it away. And I would do late peels to get him nervous and make him think that you're there and then run away so that if he feels you gone late, then he's going to tighten up and pull it into the net, etc.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, you don't want to leave. You don't want to, like, let most men know that you're not blocking before they jump or on their jump. You got to leave after the jump. And we could talk about how you can squat into that a little bit later. Okay, tomahawk and serve receive is a no-no. We know that, right? Move your feet, get your platform on it. You should tomahawk a serve receive 1 out of every 700-800 balls, maybe.
So the right move there is to basically step back and swivel, or?
Yep. You take a little drop step move. So you open your chest. So, like, you can't really see my feet, but if we open and then have this platform high, right? Because now we still have all of this to pass the ball instead of just this tiny area.
That's a lazy play by me.
Yeah, and some people don't think it's lazy. They just think it's controlled and efficient. But when you're having a smaller platform versus a big one, and if all I have to do is serve high and deep to take away your number one control weapon, then I've won the first battle. Like, I've already won because I've taken away your best control weapon just by serving high and deep.
Right.
So over time, that's going to play into me. It might not work in 1 point, it might not work in 2, but statistically, I'll be at an advantage as opposed to using your platform. So if I notice that I can get somebody to tomahawk and serve receive, I will go high, deep all day.
Yeah.
Inside set. Okay, so look to me like you were expecting that set outside, right? You notice that you're taking that wider approach. You're going outside, out, slightly stepped in there. Now you take that inside step, now you take an outside step. And that ball got inside over your left ear. And that's what this causes. Once you get that left ear set, you get lower, you get shorter immediately. Over your elbow. So you moved away from him, and this is the first time, we saw him set you inside a little bit. But you guys got to meet somewhere in the middle where you're staying closer, so you can run a little bit more of an up and down set. So you move towards your setter as a right sider, and it'll be easier for him to find you right on.
Got it.
All right, we should see. Good squeeze. Man, that's stable, right? Holding those arms, no throw, that's nice.
Yeah, bump setting feels good for me. I feel like I set him pretty well, but he passes me well usually. So
you got a good approach, coming in hard. See, this is what you never want. And this is just kind of amateurish blocking. He's nowhere near this guy's line of approach, Steve's line of approach, and he leaves now. So Steve's got step close plus half of a step to know that there's no blocker.
I think I got like 4 1 calls out on this one too.
They just can't leave that early. That's a great swing. Leaving that early is just a huge error if you have somebody who can bring it with some pace.
Yep.
Okay. You got to know now that he's shooting, right? Yeah, leave, get out of there. Like, he's under the ball. He's taking a long look in a transition set. You know, he's not going to get a good piece of this consistently. Long look, set coming from behind him. Shot. Shot enough. I mean, that's not a hit. So we should be stable. We should be peeled. And you got a little bit off balance there.
Yeah, it happens to me often, this off-balance block.
Yeah. Well, you're approaching to the net. You see this? 1 step closer to the net, 2 steps closer to the net, 3 steps closer to the net. So, yeah, you're approaching at the net rather than staying along it and blocking. Nice.
So here's a question. If, you know, so I'm always trying to split the blocker and the setter for the most part, watch the 2-ball, whatnot. If I find myself not in a great position, what's the better choice between adjusting, like a hopping or turning, shuffling, or just squatting down right where I am, jumping into my block or jumping straight up and taking what I can? Or is that situational?
Yeah, well, kind of the quick and dumb answer is like practice shuffling and taking those tiny little shuffle steps,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to press consistently. You know, being able to do that footwork, being able to take step shuffle, jump straight, step shuffle, jump straight, instead of step shuffle, fading, step shuffle, fading, right? That's what happens to a lot of blockers, is that they don't have the ability to stop the sideways movement and then press straight up and straight forward. That's a big one. If you get caught and you're going super wide and super fast and you need to make like a swing block move, you know, with a crossover, there will be a rare time for that, but that should only be if you're facing Poland.
Yeah.
or maybe Haydn, you know, where
Gotcha.
people are just constant on-2 threats and then firing balls across. But if you're not prepared to make those shuffle moves, and these guys aren't firing 2 balls to 3 balls, then it's just all on your shuffle steps and being prepared early.
Got it. I'm making a note to practice just shuffle stepping across the net and just getting down and up, straight up. Yeah.
It's so hard, and all you really need to do is have somebody point, and you do it at full speed, right? You just hold there, and they point to the side, and you step shuffle and jump straight, and then take a look at your footprints and say, like, man, I'm still jumping sideways. Like, that's where I left from. This is where I landed. So you have your own checkpoints because of the footprints in the sand.
Yeah.
And that's off-season stuff too. You don't even need a ball for that. You know, that's stuff you can do in the gym as warm-up. All right. Okay, yeah, sort of seeing the same thing. Super close hands. Not taking away a ton of area. You know, this is a small window behind you. This, because nobody is trying to hit at your face. Hitters feel body mass. They don't really feel individual hands very often. You need to be at a really high level to feel individual hands versus body mass. And if you're blocking inside your body mass, you're blocking the exact point where nobody wants to hit anyway. So you want to get hit in the head. Like, Dahlhauser gets hit in the head so much because his positioning is so perfect. Right?
Oh, I've seen it. Oh, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. I remember watching your video. Nobody should be hitting it. It's the center of your body mass if they know what they're doing, right?
There's a few people. I actually got beat on somebody that everybody knows that he won't move his hands. He lineup's perfect and he stays wide, and people just kept hitting at his head. The players that knew him really well, and they were like successful. Like, okay, make a small change now, like, because we're gonna make this adjustment. All right. Good pass. Stayed kind of wide. See this outside step? You take that wide step first. So if I were looking at just this move, I'd be like, he wants his set out here.
Yeah.
But that's not what's happening. So you're taking an extra wide step first. Wide. Then that's inside, so we're in trouble already. Oh, they have to peel. right?
This is how a lot of my side out games go. I'll kind of get peeled on until I get in a rhythm, start hitting hard, then I'll get them back, and then it's just a game of how well am I approaching and can I make them stay?
Okay. I don't think there's anything terribly wrong with that. But this is an inside set. They have to peel. And at this point, maybe this guy can leave it. This guy should not be jumping at this point, the blocker, right? Because you're here, sets inside, and you're already contacting the ball. Forget it, leave. Service. Okay, how fast do we get up? Not in time, right? If we serve.
Not in time to block a 2-ball.
Exactly. Right? If you're going to serve, you better be there with big, powerful steps and be able to touch the net before the set. Tough to do. And it's not always 100% possible, but you definitely have to be there. And
yeah, sometimes I just kind of take my time, la-di-da, up to the net, and it's not that I can't get there. It's just I'm kind of just conserving or whatnot. Yeah, that's important to just think to be aggressive on even the run-up.
Yeah. And, you know, that'll pay off. Like, if I see an open net here, if I have a good pass and you're nowhere near, I'm going on 2. I mean, me and Ian, we were going on 2 a lot this year. Because even on 2 situations, like, timing is screwed up because you don't know if you should block. And then if I just snap and jump, like, it's a broken block anyway because people aren't set up enough. Even in the pros, like, they're not really set up enough and the timing is different. So it's hard to be an established blocker in a good position on 2.
Yeah.
My other little critique here is that you served this person and ran right at him. Now you go protect the setter. Now you come back to the hitter. See that? Like, your path should aim between them immediately.
Yeah.
Just like that. All right. Yes. Smooth, small set. Nice. Easy. Good. Nice shot.
Yeah, I think he called for a 2-ball set. There are what we call a low, quicker set, so that was the tempo set.
Cool. Yeah. So you are leaving yourself just a little bit exposed. If I saw this kind of soft standing float serve, my call at this point, once I see you serving right in my wheelhouse, that's, you know, you served 1 step away from me, you didn't make me struggle to align. I'll see if I can, hopefully no one in the AVP will watch this video far enough. So, like, I would call Ian, even though he knows that I'm taking the ball. It cues him because I'm setting him at this point. You know, I see you float serve to me. You haven't really gotten to the net consistently. It's in my lap. You know, I'm not struggling to receive this. I'm going Ian. I'm passing exactly where he passed. And Ian at this point should have an open net. You know,
Yeah.
This path right here.
The whole angle's open there, yeah.
So, and you're in his angle and the whole angle's still open, right? The only thing coming now is cut shot. So that would be my method to sort of make this easy on my team. I would just like hit on 2. We don't need to do all this block.
Yeah, totally. I see it.
Make sure that first attacker is the setter. You know, that's lesson learned there. Feet are kind of squirrely, right? They're sort of inside, kind of a weird step plant here. You're in a lunge position almost. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right leg is bent. Now we step. Okay.
I'm so late at this point.
Yeah.
Even to block a shot.
Yeah.
But if my hands weren't together, I think I would have actually had a piece of it.
Maybe. But we haven't seen this guy hit yet, and we're still blocking. This is 21, 25 points into this video. He hasn't hit a hard ball. He hasn't hit anything in the front 3 quarters, and we're still blocking. So to me, that shows like, all right, we should be peeling really consistently on him if we're gonna make it easy on ourselves.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then if he does bang on you, okay, but it was obvious that his most comfortable shot is a shot, not a swing, which
Oh
means
yeah, I mean,
that you
yeah, he loves the thumb up line shot. That's his favorite shot. We know it.
so you put that in your pocket for when you need it. Or you can do it two ways. Put it in your pocket for when you need it, like let him have it 3 times so he's really comfortable with it. Play out the rest, and then at like 18-18, 18-19, when you know he's feeling a little bit of pressure, I know where he's most comfortable. Now I'm gonna try to bait him into it. I'm gonna try to make him hit that shot, leave super late, and pick that ball up. Or
Hmm.
you can just make him suffer through the entire match being uncomfortable. Hitting the shot that is not his favorite, like always taking that shot away. So leaving your defender here in this corner. That's another way to make that guy struggle, is taking away his favorite shot that you know is his favorite shot, and it's been his favorite shot for 20 years in Grand Haven, you know, and then
Yeah,
make him have to do other things to score points.
no, completely.
So 2 options there. Depends who you are and what you got to do to decide what's better. Yeah, it looks like this blocker is again nowhere near the right shoulder of your attacker, of Steve.
Yeah.
He's affecting a very small part of the court and very rare. And, yeah. So. All right, it's been about 50 minutes. So, like I said, sometimes we can get through a couple videos, but that was what was that? Oh, yeah, it was a 12-minute video, and it took us through 45 minutes.
No, that's good.
So there's some little notes in there, and I think the number one thing that we saw was getting yourself to the same distance from the net for entire points, and just making sure that you're not going forward and back, making sure that you're shuffling along the net and keeping that same distance. Draw that line in the sand exactly this distance from the net, and then be able to shuffle and move quickly along that line without seeing your feet go forward and back. And then you can do that, and you can take, so here's one kind of drill that you can use pretty easily. You can do, so the way, if you were facing me, you're facing me right now and you're in a block position, so you're held there, I would say up, in which case you have to jump straight up. I would tap my right shoulder, in which case you had to do a step shuffle over, right? Or a little side hop over, where you make like a 1.5 foot move. Or I would point, and that makes a big step, right? That means a big step shuffle and then jump. So this means a little side hop and press. This means a little side hop and press. This means step shuffle, this means step shuffle, like big, so you get 3 or 4 feet and press. That means step shuffle that way and press, and then up just means straight up. And like I said, you can do that in the gym, against the wall. You can do that on a net, on the beach, but the key is making sure that you're staying the same distance from the net and not playing with that, and that you're not fading, so that you can land in the same spot that you jumped from after that side move.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a reaction to having somebody on the other side of the net telling me that, so I'm reacting to them.
Yeah. It would be sweet if you had 5 guys that were each holding a ball, and one of them tossed and you made the move to them so that you blocked. If you're training with maybe 3 other guys and you say, guys, get 3 other blockers, and you say, guys, let's just work on blocking today. I want to do this drill for 45 minutes. I know a really good one. Does anybody want to go and block? And then you could have 3 guys each on garbage cans or painters benches, and then one of them tosses, you make a move to them.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. The other 2 big things I wrote down that you said, just to confirm, so stability when I'm passing. So I'm going to kind of do that drill you said, or instead of, peppering, just kind of make sure I'm planted when I'm passing, just 10, 15, 20 in a row, so I can really feel planted in the ground.
Yeah.
And then I think you also kind of said stay in the middle when I'm approaching from the right side, kind of not quit stepping outside first and then coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it a little bit easier. I thought Steve did a really good job of finding your right arm really consistently, but I think most people want to have more of an up and down set. So see if you can move to him more consistently and not get just stuck in the momentum or in the spot that the server served you in.
Yeah.
That's how we design serve strategy is if I serve from the middle and serve him short sideline, I'm hoping that he gets stuck or continues that momentum out there because that's where I want him to be. So if people are kind of, maybe they're not thinking that in depth, but if where you start your approach from is heavily affected by where they serve to.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I'm going to keep that in mind too. You don't think I should be passing more straight in front of me though, just adjusting more to my pass as it is?
If you get served outside, still try to pass, one step on your side of middle. If you get served right in your midline, keep it one step on your side of middle. If you get served into the middle where they force you to move over, then that passing target moves over as much as you got moved over.
Okay. That's a good rule.
So that if you're here, your setter never has to run across you to set. Their job would be to bump wider with you, and now like your center is different. So the rule is like always off of your inside foot.
That's a good rule. Yeah, I'm writing that down. That's a good one. I've never thought about it that way. Just the amount that you move, translate your pass to that. Yeah.
But that's only on that middle serve. Other than that, if they serve you like where you're only one step away, or they serve all the way to your sideline, see if you can get that ball back to the one step from the middle, and then work yourself back so that you can have that straight on approach.
Get my body there. Okay, got it. Cool.
You can see if you want like guys to look at for that. Todd Rogers is a master of it. Nick is pretty good at it. Who else does it really religiously? Grant O'Gorman from Canada.
Yeah.
Just watch 5 minutes of him and you'll see it super obvious.
All right, I wrote his name down. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah. All righty.
All right, sounds good.
Are we going to see you again next year?
Oh, yeah. I'm planning on coming out the first couple months before season. I'll probably hang out with Billy again and do another week. And I actually want to do one of the full week-long things, but I just got to plan it out. But I'm definitely going to. This has been helpful. I'm going to try and, when I'm playing the next week or two, if I can get a recording from back middle, maybe do this again, try and implement some of the stuff you said, and let's see if I can learn new tricks here.
Sure. Is this on a GoPro?
This is.
Okay. If you can do it, I don't know if your GoPro has a setting where it's not fish eye.
Yeah.
That's always a little bit nicer because it kind of gets like a weird angle. But yeah, back middle of the court and always as high as possible. If you had like a second or third story, that's where you would want to film from for sure. The ground angle, it works, but it doesn't work as well as a high angle because you can see some different things from there.
Got it. I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be doing this again shortly.
Yeah. Sounds good to me, man.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
All right, Darius. Have a good one, and we'll take you later. And I'm